After last week's episode ending on Megumin saying, "Oh, those creepy books otakus read," I'm so glad she got converted into an otaku, because it serves her right. She deserves that. She definitely deserves to be an otaku, and to see why we all enjoy, light novels, manga, anime, visual novels, all sorts of stuff. I'm glad she got converted for she could see. Now, there is a couple of things that this episode does clarify about her character, and that is the fact that she is one of those characters that goes online or hears about things from people, for instance, whatever's fashionable or whatever is really going on at the time that's hip and, all in the trend right now. Basically, she is that type of character. She's someone to follow the ongoing trend. She follows with whatever is the main thing everybody is backing or following in line with. For instance, whatever is the main, hype train or whatever, she's always on that side. She's always on the side to where she agrees with the main obvious opinion. And so, obviously, in Japan, when someone is constantly saying, "Oh, they're otakus, they're creepy," or whatever, obviously she'll probably side with them, because that's what probably many that she hangs around with probably say constantly. So obviously, seeing the way she's interacted with our characters in this series, and the way she said certain things, and the way she wants to be friends with Sagiri and all that, it makes a lot more sense now. I mean, we kind of already figured out what her character was about, but now seeing it, how she even openly admits in this episode that she doesn't really know much at all. She's just been saying these lewd things because that's what, everybody else is saying and all that, and she's just, staying in the trend of what's going on right now. I'm like, oh my god, so she is that type of character. So, to be honest with you, I don't really like Megumin. I really don't. I'm kind of glad she got converted into an otaku, but at the same time, I still don't like her character because of what she stands for and what she wants, because we need more context to her motive. Why would she go so far to be something that everybody else is, backing her behind? For instance, wanting to gain everybody as her friend, for instance, in her class. So, because of this, I'm very curious to why she goes so far for these certain things, and it could lead into some very interesting development for her character, depending on where the writer wants to take it. But for now, though, at this time, she's a very annoying character, and I personally do not like her at all. And I mean, Sagiri's reaction to when the brother came in, Masamune, he walks in, and he's like, "Hey, she wants to come see you and all that, will you allow her to see you?" And then she's like, "Eh," and then she closed the door real quick. That was very funny, because that was kind of my reaction. That was my legit reaction to Megumin in this episode. When Sagiri did that, I just couldn't help but laugh. I'm like, oh my god, this is just priceless. But besides all of this, though, we move into, oh man, okay, so there is, once again, sirens and fan service. Oh my god, I am so glad nobody walks in on me and knows what I watch or whatever, because, oh my god, how would you explain that? How would you explain that? You watching a fucking episode of Eromanga Sensei. You're at that scene to when the brother is like, "Okay, you need to tie yourself up, you need to put a blindfold on, and then she will see you." Just, if anyone walked in on you on that scene, okay? And they saw that. And then they saw the scene to where Sagiri, she was just, being lewd. She was being like an old man or whatever. She was looking at Megumin and all that, just, drawing a model and stuff. I'm like, oh my god, are you serious? And when she just grabbed her pantsuit, just dragged it straight down, I'm like, thank god nobody walks in on me or anything. Thank god nobody's here or anything. Just, that would, oh my god, that would have been bad. Just, I know that has had to happen to someone in the world. There's so many people out there, there's so many people that watch anime, there is bound to be someone that's probably had someone walk in on them for this episode. I'm willing to bet you, because that scene, oh my god, just, why? Just why? Just why? But, anyways, though, seeing Eromanga Sensei, the other side to Sagiri, it's a really funny scene. I have to admit, I had a good laugh from that scene, because I'm like, oh my god, just the way she goes into this, lewd mode to where she's just drawing and all that, I'm like, oh my god, this is funny, this is entertaining, and I know I should be cringing up and probably turning away from this series, but I just couldn't help myself. I continued watching the episode, and I guess it's kind of a saying like this: another man's, trash is another man's treasure, and that's kind of how I feel about this series. I've said it already before in my previous videos. This series is grade A trash. Like, it is. It's grade A trash. Like, it's shit. I guess, as I said, guilty pleasure. That's basically what this is. It's a guilty pleasure series, and I'm fine with that, but I'm gonna say right now, I do admit it is a trash series. I mean, some of the things in this, like, oh my god. But, anyways, another thing I do like about this episode is when Elf Sensei realizes she is a tsundere. When she realizes that was a really good moment. It's actually a really quality moment of this series that really caught me by surprise, was that when she realized she was a tsundere and how she was reacting to her fans, to how she reacted to her cells or whatever, just everything she normally said, she was acting like a normal, tsundere. And she realized how she was going into that certain, line with her character when Masamune, he mentioned, he's like, hey, you're being a standard tsundere, and when she started saying these lines, I was like a typical tsundere, and when she got embarrassed and realized what she was doing, and she's like, stop it, I get you back. So, I like that scene, that elf scene with her, and how she realized that. That was a quality moment. I gotta clap. I gotta clap for Eromanga Sensei. That was a very good moment, probably one of my personal favorite moments of the episode. Now, factoring all that out, though, we also have it to where there is some conflict going on, like a main plot point of this episode, and that is the fact that Masamune, or MC, he needs to publish his new book he's writing. And as we know, he isn't the best. For instance, he's not a well-known light novel writer. He's not, making tons and tons of sales. He's not as popular as Elf Sensei or Muramasa, I think that's her name. He's not as popular as some of these other light novel authors. However, he's trying the best of his abilities to be able to make it big, make money, be able to gain a lot of fans and publicity, all that type of stuff. Basically, in this episode, he finally wants to present his, work to the publishing company, and they basically say, no, you can't do it. We have another person that's, way better than you, for instance, way more sales than you, has a lot more profit they can bring in, that's going to obviously go first. So we'll fit you into the schedule next year. And obviously, when you look at it from this, point of view, obviously you cannot do that. No one can normally afford that or deal with that, because if you are living off of sales of like a book, like a light novel or whatever, and your light novel, the previous one you wrote, didn't sell that well, obviously you're not going to probably have a lot of money to be able to wait an entire year on those sales you previously got. So obviously he needs a job, he needs money, and that was a big conflict, like the big point of this episode, showing that if something isn't done, things are going to have to be changed, living arrangements to, what he needs to do with his life, and also what Saguri needs to do, and he was realizing some changes need to be made. So his last ditch effort was to basically find a way for the publishing company would accept him and allow him to be able to publish his work a lot quicker. And basically, from what happens at the end of the episode, it leads it to where he is entering into some form of, like, tournament arc. That's basically what it is. Like, if you know about tournaments and stuff and shonen manga and all that, that's kind of what's going on there. It's where it's 5 different series, 5 different writers competing against each other with, like, their work, and whatever, the readers find more enjoyable, they'll vote on it, and then that's the one that gets to be published and be, first to come out. And so he has to compete against these other authors that could be even better than him. But to make matters worse, though, someone that's always made it, very far and been way better than him since the very start, Muramasa, she is actually joining into the competition, which doesn't really make sense, actually, because apparently the competition's for, new offers that are just now really getting started, or I guess not really that well-known offers. I mean, thinking about, Masamune and how he isn't the best light novel author, I can see why he could be squeezed in, but someone like, Muramasa, that's sold even more than Elf Sensei, it makes you think, like, no, there shouldn't be any logical way she should be able to sign up for this, because it's completely unfair. Obviously, someone like her would instantly win just because of the fan backing. That doesn't make a fair competition at all. So hopefully something about that is done, because honestly, that's straight bullshit. Like, that's rigged as fuck, because at the very least, for Masamune, it's kind of fair because he isn't that well known, but someone like Muramasa coming in and all that has all these cells better than Elf Sensei, yeah, that's not fair. Something needs to be done about that. So, I like the conflict in this episode. I enjoyed the comedy. There were some great moments here and there. And, I mean, overall, all jokes aside with the sirens and stuff, just like, oh my god, like, Eromanga Sensei, like, chill. Just chill. Just chill. So, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I love you all so much. Please be safe. Chibi out.